All right, guys, we've got Internet versus iDubbbz and MoistCritikal. In case you don't know, MoistCritikal has been calling out MAGA a lot more, and he's also been calling out the domestic terrorist organization that is ICE because they murdered two people in cold daylight who were not illegal immigrants. iDubbbz, I guess, has been seeing that and then came to the conclusion that MoistCritikal is part of the alt-right pipeline. I had like a whole short going over it. It's really fucking like, I'm convinced that like iDubbbz's CTE has really done a number on him. If you legitimately think that MoistCritikal is part of the alt-right pipeline, that is fucking delusional. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. But we've got Minecraft Steve trying to talk to us about this situation.
Recently, iDubbbz has started another tirade against a fellow YouTuber, this time choosing MoistCritikal, where in now multiple instances he has gone after Charlie, calling him either an unprincipled rat or saying that he leads people down the alt-right pipeline.
Which is honestly fucking stupid because, like, Charlie has been calling out the far right, including MAGA and including our government for allowing them to just murder people in cold daylight.
Users on Reddit actually agreed with Ian's assertion, saying that it is true, and when Critical goes live, his chat is sometimes out of control, and others outright dismissed this, pointing out that Ian's viewer count is steadily decreasing, and this is just another claw at relevancy. Welcome to the Internet versus iDubbbz and Critical. It starts when on the YouTube drama subreddit important question text post this clip with the caption, iDubbbz believes Charlie, Penguin Zero, or MoistCritikal is part of the right-wing pipeline.
The thing that kind of first stands out to me is that I never perceived 2016 iDubbbz to be ideologically like right-wing or ideologically hateful in the way that those other two are.
No, I never saw iDubbbz back in the day as like right-wing either. I just saw iDubbbz as being edgy, like extremely edgy, and then a lot of his audience enjoyed the edgy humor, and then iDubbbz sort of captured himself into being like super edgy and like very insecure. iDubbbz had a massive aura around him before this like arc that he's been on with this like enlightened leftist arc. And so iDubbbz would just be like super edgy, and you know, I won't say I didn't have my fun with it. I certainly did have my fun with it back in the day, and I'm sure a lot of us are. I'm sure I'm not alone in that thought. But like iDubbbz, eventually, like he got with Anisa. He's sort of been, like, steering away from that. Like, I would say when he got with Anisa, like, afterwards he sort of steered away from his edgy content slowly but surely. It was definitely gradual. Like, it wasn't instant. But eventually he made that video in 2023, I Miss the Old iDubbbz, where he disavowed all of his old content and all of his old fans, and he just, like, overcorrected. Listen, if you want to stop making edgy content, I don't think a majority of normal people have a problem with you wanting to stop making edgy content. That's fine. You can do you. And I gave Ian some grace because it's like, okay, you want to stop making edgy content. A lot of us have grown up and it makes sense. But again, the problem was like the constant overcorrecting, just like disavowing all of his old content and then disavowing all of his old fans and like pretty much like overcorrecting constantly and just looking for good boy points online and overcorrecting every single pedantic detail. It's so like weird that like iDubbbz, I don't know, he went into a direction that was like very much just in the like overcorrecting. And then eventually in April of 2025 he made that hit piece on Ethan Klein, and then I was just like, yeah, I can't sit here and justify what iDubbbz is doing anymore. Like, what he's doing is pretty fucking bad, all things considered. Like, the fucking hit piece on Ethan Klein was too much for me.
Like,
it's part of the pipeline, though. It's the same reason people wouldn't say Charlie, MoistCritikal, is right-wing or like as ideologically fuck out there as like a Nick Fuentes or even Asmongold, right? Like,
are you fucking stupid? Like, I just can't get over the fact that of all the people to think of that are far right, the first person that comes to mind is MoistCritikal. Like, that has got to be like one of the dumbest things ever.
Yeah, exactly.
He holds some space for the people in his audience who might have some differing opinions. He doesn't make it clear, like, I don't want you in my fucking community. Yeah. Like, outright. Yeah. And, you know, I get it. I get the hustle. I did it for a while. But it is a little bit of cope. And I understand why people don't want to take
I don't know why it's cope. I feel like the only one that's coping is you, because MoistCritikal is definitely not far right.
the path that I took, because it breeds a lot of hate.
He then continues his post saying, tried to look up a YouTube version of this clip so I could get maximum context, but it doesn't really matter. This is an objectively insane, in spite of reality take. This is a purity over actual politics. Charlie has been going at the Trump admin and their policies for months, actually years, because of a previous incident with one of his foreign players being mistreated by the US government. He is not a safe space for the alt-right at all. Almost every other day, if not every day at times, is him clowning on some insane crap the government has done or said. In fact, he just dropped another video 32 minutes ago at the time of writing about it. To me, this is proof that iDubbbz hasn't changed who he is, just changed targets. A progressive, if you will. Dry Economist replies, it's just because Charlie shares a large audience with Asmongold, as mostly the gamer side, which I agree with, to be honest.
I disagree. I don't think Asmongold and Charlie share the same audience whatsoever. I feel like Charlie, his audience, like, I feel like if anything, Charlie's audience is more either people that don't particularly care about politics or people that are probably going to be a little more left-leaning, I would say, not like far left. That's who I see. I'm sure there are some conservatives in Charlie's audience as well. Maybe not so much now, if some of the conservatives have been seeing what Charlie has been talking about in terms of calling out MAGA and calling out the fucking ICE terrorists.
You gotta watch Charlie's chat during live streams when he watches any game trailer with a black person.
I don't agree. I just don't agree with that, to be honest. I don't think Charlie shares the... Asmongold is insanely far right. Like, absolutely fucking batshit crazy far right. If this was Asmongold's chat, I would believe you, because Asmongold's fans are fucking insane. Charlie's fans, I don't get that from Charlie. I don't agree with that.
And Attaboy Stampy replies, yeah, that's a good point. He ignores a lot of bullshit in his stream chats instead of addressing it. And Seven Tails says, good take. Painted Lotus...
I disagree. I don't like that take.
YouTube says, it's a pipeline, not a teleporter. There are levels of right-wing that people go down before they end up in the sewers. And unfortunately, it can start with a creator who doesn't take a hard enough stance against bigotry. If racists feel safe in your chat, you're part of the problem. And Miss Lady Llama Drama replies, I decided to watch a few of his videos a year or two ago, and immediately my recommendations were filled with right-wing/red pill shit. I have never once had right-wing content shoved in my face until I started watching him. And when I stopped and said I no longer wanted them to suggest his videos, lo and behold, I wasn't being suggested that content anymore.
You know, it's one thing to be like MoistCritikal was part of... He was kind of a fence sitter for a while, and he kind of gave like very milquetoast takes for a while, especially during 2024 with some of the... Like the Ava Tyson situation, he was like kind of virtue signaling about it a little bit. And like... I don't know. My take on the Ava Tyson thing is that, like, I don't think the conversations that Ava Tyson was having were appropriate, but a lot of it just boiled down to really edgy jokes. More than anything. They were not appropriate, but again, it was nothing even suggested that Ava Tyson was trying to sleep with a kid or trying to sexually exploit a kid in any capacity. Like, nothing even remotely suggests that. And so, like, I feel like, unfortunately, there's just a lot of misinformation about the Ava Tyson thing. I like, so many people get that situation wrong. And I'm not saying that, like, Ava's a good person, but it's just, like, people need to, like, stop spreading misinformation. And then I feel like MoistCritikal was kind of part of that problem. But that being said, MoistCritikal not right-wing or red-pilled. Like, I don't get where any of these guys are getting that from. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, maybe it's because MoistCritikal had, like, a feud with Sneeko, and maybe your algorithm decided to look at that and go, oh, okay, you know, you like Sneeko, so I'll recommend more Sneeko shit to you. Maybe that's what it is.
If you're going to make content around your opinion and your opinion doesn't include not wanting your community to be overrun with bigots...
He's called out red-pilled people multiple times, and he's also called out ICE and MAGA multiple times. I don't understand what you want. I don't get it. What do you want? Have you just not been paying attention to his content?
Bigots. They fester only where they're allowed.
Okay, great. These people are insufferable.
Which a caregiver says, as someone that used to listen to Charlie's former podcast, I agree with Ian. He's played fast and loose with his appeal to gamers, and for 8 years he platformed his actual right-wing buddies to spew whatever dumb beliefs they wanted, with little pushback, especially Kaya, like the COVID vaccine episode.
No, Kaya the dog? You mean like Hassan actually shocking his dog?
episode, or the one where they said they wanted to apply eugenics to pit bulls. They had Count Dankula, Eat and Decline, Ian in his edgy days, even Andrew Tate on the show, and all that stuff 100% fed that pipeline, and for Charlie to not acknowledge that is irresponsible.
Did Charlie even have Andrew Tate on his fucking podcast? I don't even think that's true. I would have heard about it. Yeah, based on public information, MoistCritikal has not had Andrew Tate on the official podcast as a guest. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Like, I feel like I'm getting gaslit here.
Miss Lady Llama Drama replies, he also had Sneeko on.
Bro, you gotta be so careful when you're scrolling through these, like, snark Reddits. Like, this has to be, like, a snark Reddit post, right? Like, surely, this is a snark... Oh, it's a YouTube drama post. That's so weird. You would think that this is shit that you would find on, like, a fucking snark Reddit.
To squash their beef. It was so pathetic watching those two glaze each other to their faces after weeks of dogging one another. He loves platforming bigots to play buddy-buddy with them so he can pretend he is neutral. Problem is that now people are finally starting to clue into the fact that rich people want money more than they want to hold any actual moral values. People are tired of this bipartisan bullshit rich people keep pulling to justify standing for nothing more than profit.
I feel like that's not true as of recently. Like, is anybody in this Reddit going to bring up how Charlie has called out MAGA and has called out the fucking extremists that's happening in our country? Like, is anybody going to bring that up? Like, he's like, again, I know Charlie has had issues with being very milquetoast and kind of a fence sitter in the past, but like, he's actually taken a pretty firm stance recently. So like, I don't think this criticism particularly ages very well. I just don't agree with it personally.
Radical Red Cube says, I have a love-hate with Charlie's content. He obviously fence sits and has the most basic opinions, but a figure like him is incredibly important because he has a massive voice that non-political people look at, and the way I see it, he is denormalizing the Trump admin. It's so infuriating to watch, but it genuinely helps.
I mean, he has been calling out the Trump administration.
And Toph replies, he's going to do that, but when it comes time to vote the next election, he's either going to say, I have no opinions, or vote whoever you want. If Vance or Trump runs again, he won't do anything to persuade his viewers not to vote for them, and the whole cycle will repeat. And WD-40 replies, quoting the last sentence we just read, and saying, bruh, if the Dems with billions in funding can't persuade voters, what's this guy gonna do? You'd also post this clip with the caption, iDubbbz on Asmongold and MoistCritikal.
It's one of these things that it's so hard for me to be critical of. Like, I'm even still being empathetic iDubbbz.
God, this guy's so boring. Like, if this guy is so desperate to give takes... By the way, the only reason we knew about his take of him saying that MoistCritikal was part of the right-wing pipeline... The only reason we knew that is because somebody else clipped it and posted it online. Ian, what the fuck are you doing? Go make content again. Like, actually, like, all Ian is doing is he's just locking his VODs on sub-only mode because he doesn't want his shit getting clipped and, like, people making fun of him because he's a fucking lol cow. But I feel like you need to, like, start fucking clipping your shit. Do React content. Do what I do. React content is very straightforward. You just set up your fucking OBS, you react to a video, it's really not difficult to do, and then you just give your opinion on something and you give your take. Get clips out there, you know, get your short form content. Dude, get your shit out there, man. Like, it's not difficult. It's really not difficult.
I actually should have a lot more heat for people like Asmongold and Charlie, because it's so fucking obvious. It's so fucking... And it's unfair even to lump Charlie in with Asmongold, right? Like, I have so much heat because it's like, you know what you're fucking doing. You know what you're doing. You guys are being fucking rats. You're being, like, unprincipled rats. Like, I do not fucking care. And I think the audience knows as well, right? Like, the audience the audience wants to wear everyone as a fucking mech suit. And it's like, none of it really, the conversation is never really about, like, whether they're principled or not. It's whether they made the smart move career-wise. Like, are you... See,
here's the thing. Like, I'm sure that there's a level of truth in all of this, but I just have very little respect for iDubbbz as a person that I don't really care. I don't particularly care to hear iDubbbz's opinion on this. Like, I don't respect him at all.
Oh, you haven't upset enough people.
Like, what are you doing, iDubbbz? Like, you talk about other people's content strategies. What are you doing to get your content strategy out there? Are you doing React content? Are you putting clips out there? Are you trying to get yourself known? Are you trying to get yourself out of a debt? I feel like Anisa is working overtime on that fucking OnlyFans. That's like the only reason you both are still alive at this point, because you guys are broke as shit.
You haven't upset enough of the right people, which would actually be like a little bit of a
And
I don't know what he's talking about. Again, MoistCritikal has been calling out like the massive extremism that's happening in this country.
Natuka replies, well, I don't think iDubbbz has been making too many smart moves, career-wise. iDubbbz complains, sex workers, bad move. Sam Hydock, bad move. Creator Clash 3, bad move. Content Cop H3, bad move. iDubbbz complains on his critics, bad move.
Yeah, iDubbbz is not exactly one to talk about other people's career choices when every single career choice he's made is just put him further and further into the shitter.
And Willie Mack quotes the post by,
it's okay, I'm sure dumping more money into therapy for him and Anisa will do all wonders for both of them, I guess, surely.
saying, isn't Charlie a lib like him? What's he even mad about? Everything this man says is retarded. And Ed Design not
Whoa!
replies, because Critical called him out for his terrible apology from years ago and pointing out how inauthentic it was. He's actually willing to call out people like Hassan when they do bad things too, so obviously he's no different than the racist grifter Asmongold. Joe Paris says, Charlie doesn't froth at the mouth while virtue signaling. So does it really count? Kevboard says, iDubbbz is not a lib. He's a retarded communist bootlicker. Never compare us to this dipshit, please.
I will never forget the time that Hassan Parker was talking about Papa Gut, and he was purity testing Papa Gut for not liking communism. Like, okay, Papa Gut is not a West bad person, and I guess not liking communism is enough to ostracize you from Hassan's community. It's fucking crazy. I don't know, man. Like, Hassan's community, I feel like he just makes the rest of us look bad. Genuinely.
Thanks. Over on our MoistCritikal, June Moon Loon also posts this clip with the caption, iDubbbz calls Charlie an unprincipled rat, and Brad Bradley replies, on one hand, I'd love to see Charlie make a video on this loser's downfall. On the other hand, it'd give him like a 10,000x boost to his viewership because he's mostly streaming to like 150 people these days because he's a boring idiot. And Andrews Kantz replies, yeah, it's best to just leave him screaming into the void. And Brad says, agreed 100%. Just let him fizzle out and get a job at the local Denny's.
Truly.
Harry is sleeping replies,
I don't know why iDubbbz doesn't like put more effort into his content and then like also like tries to get a job in the real world, because he's not making any money. He's kind of just like a pathetic loser that just like rots in his fucking room and streams all day.
If Charlie really only cared about how he appeared to the lowest common denominator, then he would have grifted or stayed silent on so many different issues and topics by now. If he only cared about appealing to the largest audience possible, he would have never mentioned Palestine, he would have never mentioned ICE, and he would have never stood up for trans rights. A lot of those takes did get him in hot water with people on the right. It's true those things aren't his main topics, and the nature of his channel is pretty safe, but in no way is he unprincipled. He's not.
I mean, that's also a good point. If Critical is able to talk about Palestine, trans rights, and like all these other stuff, like again, that would piss off people on the right. That would be taking a stance. Now, has Charlie been kind of a fence sitter in the past? Yeah, a little bit. Definitely not recently. A lot of people keep like, I feel like people have this like image of Charlie in their head, and then they sort of just like let their imagination do the rest of the work.
Scared to talk about them. And Lifefig replies, I think Charlie stands for the right things. I think he is also aware that a lot of fellow men who he otherwise shares similar interests with support deplorable things, as evidenced by the presence of Zionists in this sub, as well as people trying to diss iDubbbz by calling him a cuck as if that is an argument against his viewpoints. I think it's for his own sanity that he does restrict himself until he really can't hold off on talking about something. Casual Dystopia replies to the clip by saying, is he really this delusional, or is he actually just grifting at this point? There's no way he can be serious.
You know, it's one thing to say that iDubbbz has fallen off and is delusional. Saying that he's grifting might be a bit of a mischaracterization, because iDubbbz doesn't make any money off of his content. He's fucking broke.
It's about this when Charlie just put out another video railing on.
To be fair, his only source of income at this point is his Twitch, but like Twitch kind of sucks when it comes to their payment, genuinely, unless you're like a really, really big streamer like, I don't know, XQC or something, or Pokimane.
Trump being in the Epstein files yesterday, and Toba replies, you're wasting your time with this guy. He lost like 95% of his audience. He lost his marbles. And Immense Ass says, word around the block is that he's a cuck as well. And Heavenly DM Man says, and enables and defends abusers. He tweets out this clip with the caption, Asmongold begs iDubbbz to come at him.
I'm even still being empathetic iDubbbz.
Asmongold totally didn't pre-watch this, and it totally isn't putting on a performative reaction for his audience by, like, doing the, like, whole face-palming thing. This whole thing Asmongold's doing is, like, very performative.
Oh, God.
I don't think Asmongold's actually outraged by this.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it. Let's hear it from empathetic iDubbbz. All right, let's go.
I actually should have a lot more heat for people like Asmongold and Charlie. Because it's so fucked.
Please do. Please do. It'll be great content for me. Please complain about me.
You're being, like, unprincipled rats. Like,
This is the guy who was making fun of an Iranian for talking about how Iran is oppressive. Do you remember that? Him, like, sitting there with his girlfriend, like, giggling to themselves about how uneducated and stupid this Iranian is.
Not for nothing, Asmongold, but, like, you, like, constantly shit on illegal immigrants all the time, and you constantly are part of the culture war that talks about how illegal immigrants are the worst kind of people and like, savages as well. Like, you add to that culture war heavily, Asmongold. What are you fucking talking about? You're the slavery guy, Asmongold. You think that people should be put into fucking slave camps for stealing $2 worth of shit from a store. Like, what are you talking about?
Thinking that America is a more free country than Iran? This is the same guy. Yep. Do you enjoy the amount of space that you occupy in people's heads? I mean, I didn't even know, right? I had no idea. He's, like, sitting there.
He knew. He absolutely fucking knew about it. He pre-watched the clip before he put it on stream. Asmongold doesn't watch anything on stream until he, like, pre-watches it. We have to understand this.
Thinking about me. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Well, I don't know if the word is thinking, but, like, he's sitting there talking about me. Like, I never really think of iDubbbz, if you really want me to be honest. I never really do, and, you know, based on his viewer count, it seems like nobody else does either.
Flaccid Turkey Sausage replies, if iDubbbz is thinking of Asmongold, it is because Anisa is talking about him. Jay says, I don't know if he's thinking is one of the most accurate and funny things ever. Then over on the I Miss the Old iDubbbz subreddit, Chip Kipling posts this clip with the caption, iDubbbz admits he's had this grudge against Charlie since the apology tour.
I've had an eyebrow raised at Charlie since he was, like... Since his opinion of my apology was, like... Well, since he was basically raising an eyebrow. I didn't think iDubbbz was being Hitler at that time. What the hell?
I don't know if that... I just don't believe... Like, we have to remember, Ian does have a history of being dishonest when he went into, like, this new arc of, like, being an enlightened leftist. Like, I just don't know if... Like, he's been dishonest in his, like, hit pieces on Ethan. So we have to... I don't even think, like, his retelling of this is accurate. Second of all, you massively overcorrected when it came to your I Miss the Old iDubbbz video. Like, it's fine. No one... I would say a majority of people did not have a problem that you wanted to stop doing edgy content. A majority of people had a problem with how you handled it and how you just overcorrected. You were virtue signaling, looking for good boy points online, disavowing all your old content and all your old fans, and then, like, making a correction to, like, some black streamer or whatever, based on, like, the old content copy you made on Jinx saying, oh, it was rooted in racism, even though you weren't being racist to Jinx at all. Like, that wasn't the point of the content cop or the criticism of it. Like, you were just massively overcorrecting at every single opportunity that you could get.
This seems unnecessary, since iDubbbz wasn't being Hitler.
And Ain's Nika replies, is anyone surprised? He held a grudge over Sam Hyde copyright striking him for like 8 years. Dude is pathetic. In neither category says, he has also held a grudge against Keem over a joke DM that Ian took way too personally, which actually made Ian make the content cop on him, and he's still seething about it to this day. Nostrat says, it makes me wonder when Ian would have decided to start holding a grudge against Ethan. How far back does it go? Is he still upset that Ethan wouldn't let him use the front door that one time? Who knows? The Regi says, I've never seen someone who has such a pathological hatred of the person they used to be. He hates himself so much that he has a problem with people who don't hate him. That's a kind of self-loathing you can only get by having your self-esteem utterly shattered.
I don't even know if iDubbbz remembers who he was previously. I feel like that CT has done a real number on him.
I think we can all guess who we have to thank for breaking this man's mind like this. And Peaches and Horror replies, it's absolutely nothing but projection, because it was never his choice to change. A lot of his friends didn't have to go on some massive apology tour and shun their past work. They just very strategically beelined to other content without making a big deal about it. The rest of the Cancer Crew, H3, whilst still being incredibly successful. He's now stuck pandering to a community which hates him but can never leave because they are the last remaining people on this planet that will give him money. He literally gave up everything he stood for to end up with nothing, and he still does not even believe the things he claims because we know he's just repeating things Anisa says. He will now forever be salty and spend the rest of his days greasy and sockless, tearing down anyone more successful than him to 5 viewers on stream.
That's pretty fucking sad when you think about it, honestly. And also, Ethan was the only person that was willing to go to bat for iDubbbz, and was the only person that was willing to kind of ruin his reputation for iDubbbz to stick up for him because they were close friends. And then Ian just turned around and made that fucking hit piece on him, which not only was absolutely fucked up for him from like a friendship standpoint, but also because you're putting everybody else fighting in Creator Clash at risk, because a lot of people that were in Creator Clash, like Harley, had a very good rapport with Ethan. So you're putting them, you're fucking over them as well.
Delicious. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, Sal Soud, Coldest Bandito, Captain Crashshot, Papa Gut.
Hey, Papa Gut based.
Nadir.
Yo, Internet Versus, you gotta change this image of Papa Gut to 100,000 subscribers and the check mark. You gotta change it.
Boy, thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.
Good stuff, Internet Versus. Good stuff. Good stuff.